The scream cut through the silence like a gunshot. Jake Morrison's hand froze on the throttle. 15 years of forcing himself not to care, not to stop, not to remember all of it shattered by 4 words gasping from the darkness. Please don't hurt me. His daughter's voice. No, someone else's daughter. Someone still breathing. Someone he could still save. This time running away wasn't an option. This time God was giving him one last chance not to be a coward. Before we begin, please subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell. Stay with us until the very end of this incredible journey and comment below telling us what city you're watching from. We love seeing how far these stories of hope and redemption travel across the world. Jake Morrison hadn't stopped for anyone in 3 years. Not since they lowered Lily into the ground while he stood there in dress blues, unable to cry, unable to breathe, unable to do anything but survive the next 60 seconds. Now his Harley was doing 80 on Highway 49, and he wanted to keep it that way. Keep moving. Never stop. Stopping meant thinking. Thinking meant remembering. Remembering meant skid marks. Fresh. Black rubber carved into asphalt. His hand hit the brake before his brain could argue. The bike slowed. Stopped. He killed the engine and heard it. Crying. A child. No. No, no, no. Not again. He should go. He should start this bike and disappear into the desert and pretend he never heard anything. That's what he'd been doing. That's what kept him alive. The crying got louder. Help! Jake was off the bike and running. The car was down the slope wrapped around a boulder. Both front doors open. Blood on the seats. No bodies. But 15 feet away, small. Too small. Dark hair. Blood. Leg bent wrong. She saw him and screamed. Don't. Her voice cracked with terror. Please, don't hurt me. Jake stopped like he'd hit a wall, held up both hands. I'm not. Stay away. She tried to crawl backward. Her leg moved. She shrieked. Stop! Don't move! His voice came out harder than he meant. She flinched. He forced himself to breathe. You'll make it worse. Please, just stay still. I want my mommy. Tears cut through the dust on her face. Where's my mommy? Jake looked at the car, the blood, the empty seats, tire tracks leading back to the highway. A second vehicle had been here. What's your name? He asked quietly. She stared at him, shaking, eyes wide with fear. I'm Jake. I'm not going to hurt you. I promise. Everyone says that. Her voice was so small. Everyone lies. Something in those words hit him like shrapnel. This kid wasn't just scared. She was resigned, like she'd already learned the world was full of people who broke promises. How old are you? She didn't answer. Okay, you don't have to talk, but I need to check if you're hurt. Is that okay? No. Your leg's broken. You know that, right? She nodded, tears spilling faster. I can help, but I need you to trust me. I don't know you. That's fair. He lowered himself to one knee, still 6 feet away. But right now, I'm all you've got. She looked at him, really looked. Her eyes went to the tattoos covering his arms. The eagle, the skull, the names written in script. Are you a bad man? The question hit him in the chest. He should lie. Tell her he was a good guy, a hero, whatever she needed to hear. But this kid deserved the truth. I used to be, he said. I'm trying real hard not to be anymore. She studied his face like she was deciding whether to believe him. What's the pictures on your arms? Memories, people I loved, places I've been, mistakes I made. Do you have one for someone who died? His hand moved to his chest, to the name over his heart that no one could see. Yeah. Was it a little girl? He couldn't breathe. How did you? You look sad, like my daddy looked when his mommy died. She wiped her nose. I'm sorry she died. Jake's throat closed. This broken kid lying in the dirt leg, shattered parents gone, and she was apologizing to him. What's your name, sweetheart? Emma. Emma, that's real pretty. He inched closer. I'm gonna touch your leg now. It's gonna hurt. You can yell if you need to. I don't want you to. I know, but if I don't check it, you could lose it. You understand? She bit her lip. Nodded. He moved fast. Professional. Fingers running along her shin. She whimpered. When he touched the brake, she screamed. I know, baby. I know. Compound fracture. Bone through skin. Bad. You're doing great. So brave. I'm not brave. Brave people never feel brave. That's the secret. He shrugged off his jacket and wrapped it around her shoulders. She was shaking hard now, shock setting in. When'd you last drink water? I don't know. We're getting you to a hospital. They'll fix your leg, give you medicine. He pulled out his phone. No signal. Of course not. I need to move you to the road. It's gonna hurt bad. No, please, no. I'm sorry, I have to. You're gonna leave me, her voice broke. Everyone leaves. He looked her dead in the eye. I don't break promises. Yes, you do. All grown-ups do. Not me. They stared at each other, him tattooed and scarred and barely holding himself together, her 8 years old and already convinced the world was full of liars. Okay, she whispered finally. Jake scooped her up in one motion. She screamed, the sound ripped through him like a knife. He climbed fast, boots sliding, muscles burning. Her fingers dug into his shirt, her tears soaked through to his skin. At the road, he laid her down gently. Started walking, phone held high, searching for signal. 1 bar. He dialed 911. 911, what's your emergency? Single vehicle accident, highway 49 mile marker 187. Child age 8, compound leg fracture, possible head trauma going into shock. Need ambulance now. Sir, are you trained? Marine Corps Infantry, 2 tours, send the bus. Help is en route, stay on the line. He walked back to Emma. Her eyes were closed. Emma, hey, look at me. Her eyelids fluttered, barely open. Stay awake. Talk to me. Tell me about what do you like? You like school. Reading, her voice slurred. I like stories. What kind of stories? Magic ones. Animals. Mommy reads to me every night. Her face crumpled. Where's Mommy? I don't know yet. You're lying. I'm not. I really don't know, but I'm gonna find out. Promise. There was that word again. Promise. A word that used to mean something before the world taught him it was just noise people made. Yeah, he said. I promise. Emma's eyes closed again. The operator was talking in his ear, but he wasn't listening. He was watching this kid's chest rise and fall, counting the seconds between breaths, remembering another little girl who stopped breathing while he held her. No, not again. Emma, stay with me. Come on, sweetheart. Tired. I know, but you gotta stay awake. Why? Because I need you to. That's not a reason. It's the only one I've got. She opened her eyes, looked at him. You're scared. Yeah. Of what? Of losing another little girl. Of failing again. Of God giving him a second chance and watching him blow it. Of letting you down, he said. Everyone lets me down. Not today. Sirens. Finally. The ambulance came screaming up, lights cutting through the dusk. 2 paramedics jumped out. What have we got? The woman was fast. Efficient. Jake rattled off Vital's mechanism of injury, everything he'd observed. They nodded, got to work. Started an IV. Stabilized her leg. Lifted her onto the gurney. Emma reached for him. Don't leave me. Her fingers grabbed at air. Please. Every instinct told him to walk away, to get on his bike and ride until the desert swallowed him. He'd played hero before. It ended with a grave and 3 years of wanting to die. But those eyes. Can I ride with her? The words came out before he could stop them. The female paramedic looked at him, at his tattoos, his leather, his face that had scared grown men. Then she looked at Emma, clutching his jacket, and nodded. "Yeah, come on." Jake climbed in, sat across from Emma. Her hand found his. "You came." "Said I would. Nobody ever comes." "I did." The doors slammed. The ambulance pulled out, sirens wailing. Jake watched the highway disappear and wondered what the hell he'd just done. The male paramedic was checking Emma's pulse. "You did good out there. Probably saved her life." Jake didn't respond. Saving lives. That used to be his job. Before Fallujah, before the Crimson Wolves, before Lily. Before he learned that sometimes saving people just meant watching them die slower. "Jake." Emma's voice was weak. "I'm here. Will you tell me a story?" His chest tightened. Lily used to ask that. Every night. "Daddy, tell me about the princess. Daddy, tell me about the dragon." He'd failed her. Let her down in ways that carved holes in his soul. But maybe, "Okay," he said. "I'll tell you a story." Emma's eyes closed. Her breathing steadied. And Jake Morrison, who hadn't told a story in 3 years, began to speak. Once, there was a soldier who forgot how to be brave. No. The hospital came too fast. St. Mary's a squat building with flickering lights and a tired emergency room that had seen too much. The ambulance backed into the bay. Doors flew open. Female age 8, compound tib-fib, fracture, head, lack, possible internal injuries. Voices overlapped. Orders shouted. People in scrubs swarmed the gurney. Jake stepped back, giving them room. A nurse glanced at him. "You family?" "No, I found her. Wait in the lobby. I promised I'd stay." "Sir, we need to." "I promised." The nurse looked at Emma, who was gripping Jake's jacket like a lifeline, and sighed. "Fine, but stay out of the way." They wheeled Emma into Trauma Bay 3. Bright lights, machines beeping. A doctor appeared, young and competent looking, already barking orders. "Get me a type and cross CBC CMP portable x-ray. Someone page ortho. BP's dropping. Start pressors. Where's anesthesia?" Jake stood against the wall, useless, watching them cut away Emma's clothes. "Hook her up to monitors." Her eyes found him through the chaos. "Don't go." "I won't." "Promise." "Already did." A woman in scrubs, late 20s, dark hair pulled back, exhaustion written in every line of her face, looked up from the IV she was placing. Her eyes went to Jake. Narrowed. Took in the tattoos, the leather, the general aura of danger he carried like cologne. "Who are you?" "Jake Morrison. I found her on Highway 49. Parents. Missing." Her jaw tightened. "Missing how?" "Car wreck. They were gone when I got there. Someone took them." "Someone took them." Her voice rose. "What are you talking about?" "Tire tracks. Blood. Empty seats. You do the math." The woman stared at him like he'd grown a second head. Then she looked at Emma, small and broken on the gurney, and her expression shifted to something fierce. "She's alone." "Right now, yeah." "Does she have family? Anyone we can call?" "I don't know. She hasn't said much." The woman turned to Emma. Her voice softened immediately. "Hi, sweetheart. I'm Sarah. I'm going to take care of you, okay?" Emma's eyes flicked to her, then back to Jake. "Is he staying?" "Do you want him to?" "Yes." Sarah looked at Jake again. Her expression said she didn't trust him as far as she could throw him, but she nodded. "He can stay." The doctor called out. "Martinez, I need that second IV now." Sarah Martinez moved fast. 2 more nurses joined her. They worked around Jake like he was furniture. He stood there feeling useless hands curled into fists at his sides. This was a mistake. He should leave. Let the professionals handle it. Let the system do its job. But every time he looked at the door, he saw Emma's face, heard her voice. "Please don't leave me." He'd left Lily, left her in a hospital bed while he went to grab coffee because the nurse said she was stable. 5 minutes. He was gone 5 minutes. When he came back, she was coding. By the time they shocked her heart back to life, it was too late. Brain damage, vegetative state. 3 weeks later, they turned off the machines. He wasn't leaving this kid. Jake. Emma's voice cut through the noise. He moved to her side. Yeah. Am I gonna die? The question hit him like a punch. No. You don't know that. You're right, I don't. But these people, he gestured at the medical team. They're good. They're gonna fix you up. What about mommy and daddy? He had no answer for that. No good one anyway. Police are looking for them. The bad men took them. Sarah looked up sharply. What bad men? Emma's eyes filled with tears. Daddy said not to tell. He said they'd hurt us if we told. Who, sweetheart? Who was following you? I don't know. Daddy had a new job. We were moving. He said we'd be safe. Her voice cracked. He lied. Sarah's face went pale. She looked at Jake. Did you call the police? Paramedics said they would. We need to... I know. Jake pulled out his phone. Dialed. Yeah, this is Jake Morrison. I called in an accident on Highway 49 about 20 minutes ago. Kids at St. Mary's now. Parents are missing. Looks like a forced abduction. Someone ran them off the road. Yeah, I'll wait. He gave the details. Description of the car. Location. Tire tracks. Blood. Everything he'd seen. The officer on the other end took notes. Promised to send someone. Told him not to leave. Like he was going anywhere. Sarah was still working on Emma, but her eyes kept darting to Jake. Suspicious. Wary. Like she couldn't figure out if he was a good Samaritan or something darker. He didn't blame her. He wasn't sure himself. The doctor finished his exam. Ortho's on the way. We're taking her to X-ray, then OR, probably looking at surgery within the hour. Emma's hand shot out, grabbing Jake's wrist. No, don't let them cut me. They're not going to hurt you, baby. They're going to fix your leg. I'm scared. I know. Will you be here when I wake up? Jake looked at Sarah, who was watching him with that same suspicious expression. Then he looked at Emma, 8 years old, parents gone, scared out of her mind. Yeah, he said. I'll be here. Promise. There was that word again. Promise. They wheeled her out. Sarah followed, but not before shooting Jake one more look. You should probably go talk to the police. I'm not leaving. She's going into surgery. You can't go with her. I'll wait. It could be hours. Then I'll wait hours. Sarah opened her mouth, closed it, shook her head. Fine. There's a waiting room on the second floor. Someone will update you when she's out. She disappeared through the double doors. Jake stood there in the empty trauma bay, blood on the floor, the smell of antiseptic burning his nose. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. Morrison. Mr. Morrison, this is Officer Chen, State Police. I'm at the accident scene now. Can you walk me through what you saw? Jake did. Every detail. The car, the blood, the tire tracks. Emma's story about men following them. And you didn't see anyone? No, they were gone before I got there. What were you doing on that stretch of highway? Riding. From where? Nowhere to nowhere. Silence on the other end. Then, you got a record, Mr. Morrison. Yeah. What kind? The kind that says, I made mistakes. Paid for them. Moved on. Moved on to what? Trying to be someone who doesn't make those mistakes anymore. More silence. You need to come down to the station. Answer some questions. Can't. Made a promise to a kid. This isn't optional. Then arrest me. But I'm not leaving until I know she's okay. Officer Chen sighed. I'll come to you. St. Mary's. Yeah. Don't go anywhere. The line went dead. Jake slid the phone back in his pocket, walked out of the ER and found the stairs. Climbed to the second floor. Found the surgical waiting room. Empty, except for a vending machine that looked older than he was, and chairs that had seen better decades. He sat, stared at the wall, waited. An hour passed. 2. His phone buzzed again, a text from a number he didn't recognize. We know what you did. Stay away from the girl or you'll regret it. Jake stared at the message. Read it 3 times. Then he deleted it and stood up. Someone was watching. Someone knew he'd found Emma, which meant someone knew Emma was alive, which meant she was still in danger. His jaw tightened. Old instincts surged up, the ones he'd tried to bury, the ones that knew how to hunt, how to hurt, how to make problems disappear. No, he wasn't that person anymore. But if someone came for Emma... The door opened. Sarah walked in, still in Scrub's mask hanging around her neck. She looked exhausted. She's out of surgery. It went well. Clean break, good alignment. She'll need physical therapy, but she should recover fully. Relief flooded through him. Can I see her? She's in recovery, still sedated, won't wake up for a while. I'll wait. Sarah crossed her arms. Why? What? Why are you here? You don't know this kid. You found her, called 911, rode with her. That's above and beyond. So why are you still here? I promised. Promised what? That you'd stay. She's 8. She won't remember. I'll remember. Sarah studied him. Who are you really? Nobody. Nobody doesn't have arms covered in gang tattoos and scars that look like knife wounds. I used to be someone. I'm trying to be someone else now. That's not an answer. It's the only one I've got. They stared at each other. Her defensive and exhausted and clearly not trusting him. Him knowing he looked like exactly the kind of man mothers warned their daughters about. Look, she said finally. I appreciate what you did. Really. But Emma needs stability right now. She needs someone who'll show up. I know. Do you? Because showing up once is easy. Showing up every day, that's hard. I know. How? The question hung in the air. Jake could lie, could tell her it was none of her business, could walk away right now and never look back. But something about this woman, the exhaustion in her eyes, the fierce protectiveness, the way she stood, like she'd fight God himself to keep Emma safe, made him tell the truth. I had a daughter, he said quietly. Lily. She died 3 years ago. I wasn't there when it happened. I left for 5 minutes and she was gone. So yeah, I know what showing up every day looks like, and I know what it looks like when you don't. Sarah's expression shifted, softened. I'm sorry. Don't be. Just let me see her when she wakes up. Let me keep my promise. After that, I'm gone if you want me gone. She was quiet for a long moment. Then she nodded. Okay. But if you hurt her, I won't. If you disappoint her, I won't. If you make her care about you and then leave, I won't. Sarah held his gaze. Everyone says that. Everyone lies, Jake said. I don't. She turned toward the door, stopped, looked back. She asked for you. When she was going under, first thing she said was, "Where's Jake?" His chest tightened. Room 304, 3rd floor. You can sit with her. But one wrong move and I'm calling security. Understood. Sarah left. Jake stood there for a moment, hands shaking slightly. Then he climbed the stairs to the 3rd floor. Found room 304. Pushed open the door. Emma lay in the hospital bed, tiny under white sheets. IV in her arm. Monitors beeping softly. Her leg was wrapped and elevated. Bruises already forming on her face. But she was breathing. Heart beating steady. Alive. Jake pulled a chair next to the bed. Sat down. Reached out and took her small hand in his scarred one. Hey kid, he whispered. Told you I'd be here. Emma didn't respond. Still asleep. But her fingers twitched slightly, like some part of her knew he was there. Jake leaned back in the chair, closed his eyes, and for the first time in 3 years he let himself hope that maybe, just maybe, he could be someone worth keeping a promise. Jake woke to the sound of screaming. His hand went to his hip muscle memory, searching for a weapon that wasn't there. His eyes snapped open. Hospital room, white walls, monitors beeping, Emma thrashing in the bed, eyes wide with terror. No, don't take them, Daddy. He was at her side in 2 steps. Emma, hey, you're safe. She didn't hear him, didn't see him, lost somewhere in her head where bad things were happening. "Emma, look at me." He caught her flailing hand. "It's Jake. You're in the hospital. You're okay." Her eyes focused, found his face. She gasped like she'd been drowning. "Jake, yeah, I'm here. Where's my mommy?" The question cut through him. He'd been hoping she wouldn't ask, wouldn't remember, but kids always remembered. "Police are still looking. They're dead, aren't they?" "We don't know that." "Yes, we do." Tears rolled down her cheeks. "The bad men killed them." "Emma." "They did? I know they did." Her voice rose. "And now they're coming for me." The door burst open. Sarah rushed in, still in scrubs from an overnight shift. Her eyes went from Emma to Jake. "What happened?" "Nightmare," Jake said. Sarah moved to the other side of the bed. "Sweetheart, you're okay. You're safe here." "No, I'm not. They're gonna find me." "Who's gonna find you?" "The bad men." Sarah looked at Jake. He could see the question in her eyes. Is this real or trauma? He didn't know. Sarah pulled up Emma's chart on the computer. "Your leg surgery went perfectly. Dr. Chen says you'll be walking again in a few months. Isn't that great?" Emma wasn't listening. Her eyes were locked on the door like something was going to come through at any second. Jake squeezed her hand. "Hey, look at me." She did. "Nobody's getting through that door. You understand, nobody." "You don't know that." "Yeah, I do, because I'm not leaving. And anyone who wants to hurt you has to go through me first. You can't stop them. Watch me." Sarah cleared her throat. "Mr. Morrison, can I talk to you outside?" Jake looked at Emma. "I'll be right back." "Okay." "No, don't leave. I'm just going outside that door. You'll be able to see me through the window. See?" He pointed at the glass. "I'm not going anywhere." Emma's grip on his hand tightened. Then slowly she let go. Jake followed Sarah into the hallway. She rounded on him immediately. "What's going on?" "What do you mean?" "She's terrified. More than normal accident trauma. She keeps talking about men following them, men who took her parents. Is any of this real?" "I don't know." "You don't know. You were there." "I found her after. The car was empty. Parents gone. Fresh tire tracks from another vehicle. That's all I know." Sarah ran a hand through her hair. "The police came by earlier. Said they found the car but no sign of the parents. No blood trail, no bodies. Nothing." "What does that mean?" "It means either she's confused from the trauma or someone really did take them." "That doesn't make sense. Why would someone—" She stopped, looked back at Emma through the window. She said her dad had a new job, that they were moving to be safe. Safe from what? I don't know. She wouldn't say more. "Did you ask?" "She's 8 and terrified." "No, I didn't interrogate her." Sarah crossed her arms. "Who are you?" "We did this already." "No. We did the sad backstory version. Now I want the truth." "Who are you really? Because normal people don't—" She gestured vaguely at him. "Don't look like you. Don't act like you. Don't make promises to strange kids and then camp out in hospital rooms." Jake leaned against the wall. "You want the truth? Fine. I was Marine Corps infantry. 2 tours. Came home broken. Joined a motorcycle club because they were the only people who understood. Did things I'm not proud of. Got out. Lost my daughter. Spent 3 years trying to figure out how to keep breathing. That good enough? A motorcycle club. You mean a gang?" "Yeah." "Which one?" He hesitated. "Does it matter?" "Yes." "Crimson Wolves." Sarah's face went pale. "You're kidding." "Nope. The Crimson Wolves are—" She lowered her voice. "They're dangerous. They run drugs, guns. I know what they do. I'm not with them anymore. People don't just leave gangs. I did." How? I asked nicely. Sarah stared at him. You're lying. Yeah, I am. Truth is, I beat the hell out of 3 guys who tried to stop me and told the rest if they came after me, I'd burn their clubhouse down. Then I disappeared. He met her eyes. That answer your question? She took a step back. I should call security. You should, but you won't. Why wouldn't I? Because Emma trusts me, and right now I might be the only thing keeping her from completely falling apart. That's manipulative. That's reality. Sarah looked at Emma through the window. The kid was staring at the door body, tense, ready to run, even though her leg was immobilized. This is insane, Sarah muttered. Probably. If you hurt her, I won't. Everyone says that. And I'll keep saying it until you believe me. He pushed off the wall. Look, I get it. You don't trust me. Fine. But that kid in there, she's scared out of her mind. Someone needs to make her feel safe. If that's not me, then who? I will. You working a double shift? Sarah's jaw tightened. How did you? Your eyes, your scrubs, the coffee stain that wasn't there this morning. You've been here all night. I had patience. And you'll have more. Because that's what nurses do. But you can't be here 24/7. I can. You have a job. Not currently. Family. Dead. Friends. Didn't keep any. Sarah shook her head. This is crazy. Yeah. You're a stranger. I know. She's a vulnerable child. I know that too. And I'm supposed to just what? Let you hang around, play dad. The word hit him like a fist. I'm not playing anything. I'm keeping a promise. That's it. They stared at each other. Sarah's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, cursed under her breath. I have to check on another patient. Don't do anything stupid. She walked away, footsteps sharp on the linoleum. Jake went back into the room. Emma's eyes locked on him immediately. You came back. Said I would. Sarah doesn't like you. Can't blame her. I don't look very trustworthy. Are you trustworthy? She nodded. Jake pulled the chair closer to her bed. Sat down. I don't know, kid. I used to think I was. Then life happened and I made a lot of bad choices. Hurt people. Let people down. He looked at his hands. At the scars. At the tattoos he'd gotten to prove he belonged somewhere. So honestly, I don't know if I'm trustworthy, but I'm trying to be. That's a weird answer. It's an honest one. Emma was quiet for a moment. Then, my daddy used to say lying was worse than anything. Even if the truth was bad, you should always tell it. Your daddy sounds like a smart man. He was scared, though. At the end, I could tell. Scared of what? The men following us. He kept looking in the mirror. Mommy was crying. She tried to hide it, but I could hear her. Emma's voice got smaller. They were fighting about money, about the new job, about whether we should run or stay. Jake felt something cold settle in his gut. What was your dad's new job? I don't know. He wouldn't say. Just that it was important, that it would keep us safe. Safe from who, Emma? She looked at him with eyes too old for her face. I don't know, but they found us anyway. The door opened again. A police officer walked in, older guy with gray hair and tired eyes. Emma Rodriguez. Emma shrank back against the pillows. It's okay, Jake said quietly. He's just here to ask some questions. Are you the father? The officer asked. No, I found her. Name? Jake Morrison. The officer pulled out a notepad. Mr. Morrison. Officer Chen. We spoke on the phone. Yeah. Mind if I ask Emma a few questions? Jake looked at Emma. She was gripping the bed rail so hard her knuckles were white. She's pretty shaken up. I understand, but we need to know what happened. The sooner we get information, the better chance we have of finding her parents. Emma's voice was barely a whisper. Are they dead? Officer Chen's expression softened. We don't know yet, sweetheart. But we're looking. That's why I need to ask you some questions. Can you do that? She nodded. Good girl. Now can you tell me what happened yesterday? Start from the beginning. We were driving. Daddy said we were going to the new house. The safe house. Safe house? Did he use those words? Yeah. He said once we got there everything would be okay. Nobody could find us. Who was trying to find you? I don't know. Did your parents ever mention names? People they were afraid of? Emma shook her head. Daddy wouldn't tell me. He said it was grown-up stuff. Okay. What happened while you were driving? Daddy kept looking in the mirror. Then Mommy screamed. Said there was a car behind us. Daddy drove faster. Really fast. I was scared. What did the car look like? Black. Big. I don't know cars. That's okay. What happened next? They got really close. Bumped us. Daddy yelled. Mommy was crying. Then we went off the road and everything was spinning and her voice cracked. And then I woke up and they were gone. Officer Chen wrote everything down. Did you see the people in the other car? No. Did you hear them say anything? No. I couldn't move. My leg hurt so bad. I called for Mommy, but she didn't answer. And that's when Mr. Morrison found you. Emma looked at Jake. Yeah, he stopped. Everyone else just drove by, but he stopped. Officer Chen glanced at Jake, something unreadable in his expression. Lucky. Yeah, Jake said flatly. Real lucky. The officer asked a few more questions. Got nothing new. Finally snapped his notebook shut. Okay, Emma, you did great. If you remember anything else, anything at all, you tell the nurses and they'll call me. Okay. She nodded. Officer Chen motioned for Jake to follow him out. In the hallway he turned. Walk with me. They walked. Chen was quiet until they reached the elevator. I ran your name, he said. Jake's jaw tightened. Of course you did. Disorderly conduct, assault, possession with intent. All before you joined the Marines. He paused. Then nothing for 6 years. Clean record during service. Honorable discharge. At the end of the story, no. After discharge, you drop off the radar for 2 years. Then you pop up again. More assault charges. All dropped. Then your daughter dies and you disappear. Until yesterday. What's your point? My point is, you've got a history of violence, and you're sitting in a hospital room with a vulnerable child whose parents are missing. I saved her life. Maybe, or maybe you know more than you're saying. Jake turned to face him. You think I had something to do with this? Did you? No. Then why are you still here? I made a promise. Chen laughed. Short and bitter. Nobody keeps promises to strange kids, not without a reason. My reason is I keep my promises. That's not an answer. It's the only one you're getting. They stared at each other. Chen broke first. Stay available. Don't leave town. And if I find out you're lying to me, you won't. Chen walked away. Jake stood there, hands curled into fists, old anger bubbling up. He'd spent 3 years trying to leave that version of himself behind, the one that solved problems with his fists, the one that scared people. But maybe that version was exactly what Emma needed right now. He went back to the room. Emma was crying silently, tears soaking into her pillow. Hey. He sat down. What's wrong? They're dead. I know they are. You don't know that. I feel it. Right here. She touched her chest. They're gone. Jake didn't have words for that, didn't have comfort, because she was probably right. People who got snatched off the highway by professionals didn't usually come home. I'm sorry, kid. What's going to happen to me? I don't know. Will they put me in a home? I don't... He stopped, thought about it. No parents, no family mentioned. She'd go into the system, foster care, bounced from house to house until she aged out or got lucky. He'd seen kids in the system, knew what it did to them. Maybe not, he said. Maybe there's family. There's not. Mommy's parents are dead. Daddy didn't have anyone. What about aunts, uncles? Mommy had a sister. But they don't talk, haven't in years. Why not? Emma shrugged. I don't know. Grown-up stuff. What's her name? Your aunt. Sarah. Jake froze. Sarah. Yeah. Sarah Martinez. She's a nurse. Mommy said she works too much and doesn't have time for family, but Emma's eyes widened. Wait, is that the same Sarah? The one here? Jake's brain was trying to catch up. Your mom's last name was Martinez. Yeah, before she married Daddy, then it was Rodriguez. And your Aunt Sarah. Oh my God! The voice came from the doorway. Sarah stood there, face white as chalk chart dangling from her hand. Sophia. Emma's face crumpled. Aunt Sarah. Sarah dropped the chart, crossed the room in 3 steps, pulled Emma into her arms. Oh my God. Oh my God. Your last name was Rodriguez. Your mom remarried. I didn't know. They were both crying now, holding each other. Years of separation collapsing in an instant. Jake stood up, backed toward the door. Sarah looked up. Wait, don't. She wiped her eyes. Don't go. You two need time. No, stay, please. She looked back at Emma. Your mom, Sophia, we had a fight 5 years ago. Stupid sister stuff. We both said things we didn't mean, and then we stopped talking. I thought about calling so many times, but I didn't know what to say. And now, she's gone, Emma whispered. We don't know that, baby. We don't know that. But Sarah's face said she did know. Said she'd seen enough tragedy in this hospital to recognize it. I'm so sorry, she said. I'm so sorry I wasn't there. That we wasted so much time being angry over something that doesn't even matter now. It's okay. It's not. But I'm here now, and I'm not going anywhere. You hear me? I'm not leaving you. Emma nodded against her shoulder. Sarah looked at Jake over Emma's head. Something had shifted in her eyes. Not trust exactly, but recognition. Understanding. Thank you, she mouthed. He nodded, turned to leave. Jake, Emma's voice stopped him. Are you leaving? Just giving you two some space. But you're coming back. He looked at Sarah. She nodded slightly. Yeah, kid, I'm coming back. Promise. There was that word again, the one that seemed to follow him around like a ghost. Promise. He left them there, walked down the hallway, found the chapel small and empty, just wooden pews and a cross on the wall, sat in the back row. He hadn't prayed in years. Didn't know if he remembered how. Didn't know if God even listened to men like him. But he tried anyway. For Emma. For Sarah. For two parents who might already be dead. For himself, if he was being honest. For the chance to be someone who kept promises instead of breaking them. His phone buzzed. Another text from an unknown number. Last warning. Walk away or we'll make you. Jake stared at the message. Then he typed back. Come try. He deleted the thread. Put his phone away. Sat in the silence and waited for whatever was coming next. Because something was coming. He could feel it in his bones. And when it arrived, he'd be ready. 3 days passed. 3 days of Jake sleeping in a hospital chair, of Sarah juggling double shifts and trying to figure out custody paperwork, of Emma waking up screaming every night, calling for parents who never answered. On the 4th day, the bodies were found. Sarah took the call in the hallway. Jake watched through the window as her face crumbled, watched her hand go to her mouth, watched her knees buckle and a passing doctor catch her. He knew before she said anything. She came back into the room moving like she'd aged 20 years. Emma was asleep finally after another nightmare-filled night. Sarah sat down hard in the other chair. They found them, she whispered. Jake didn't ask where, didn't ask how, just waited. Shallow grave, 40 miles from the accident site, both of them. Her voice cracked. Sophia, my sister, she's gone. I'm sorry. The police said it was execution style, quick, professional. She looked at him with red-rimmed eyes. Who does that? Who kills 2 people and leaves their daughter to die on the side of the road? People who don't want witnesses. To what? I don't know. Sarah wiped her eyes. The detective wants to talk to Emma again. Wants to know more about what her father was involved in. She doesn't know anything. They think she might remember something, some detail that could... She stopped, looked at Emma sleeping. I can't tell her. I can't. How do I tell her that her parents are dead? Jake had no answer. He'd been on the other side of that conversation. Lily's doctor, stone-faced and professional, saying words like brain death and life support and difficult decisions. He'd wanted to punch that doctor, wanted to scream, wanted to wake up from the nightmare. But nightmares were real, and someone had to live through them. I'll stay, he said. When you tell her, if you want. Sarah nodded, took a shaky breath, reached over and gently touched Emma's hand. Emma's eyes opened. Aunt Sarah. Hey, baby. Did they find Mommy and Daddy? Sarah's face said everything. Emma's scream cut through the hospital room like a knife. She thrashed, trying to get up, forgetting about her leg. Sarah grabbed her, held her tight. Emma fought for a moment, then collapsed against her aunt, sobbing so hard she couldn't breathe. No. I know, baby, I know. They can't be dead. They can't be. I'm so sorry. Emma's eyes found Jake over Sarah's shoulder. You said they'd find them. You said... I know what I said. You lied. I didn't lie. I said they were looking. They found them. They're dead. She screamed it. They're dead, and you said... She couldn't finish, just sobbed. Sarah held her, rocking her like a baby, tears streaming down her own face. Jake stood there useless. He'd been trained to run toward gunfire, to make split-second decisions that meant life or death, to keep moving when every instinct said freeze. But watching this kid fall apart, he had no training for that. He started to leave, give them privacy. Stay. Sarah's voice was rough. Please. So he stayed, stood against the wall while Emma cried herself out. Watched Sarah hold her sister's daughter and try to be strong when everything inside her was breaking. Eventually, Emma's sobs quieted. She pulled back, face blotchy and swollen. Where are they? The morgue, Sarah said quietly. The police need to finish their investigation. I want to see them. Baby, you can't, not yet. Why not? Sarah looked at Jake helplessly. Because you don't want to remember them that way, Jake said. Trust me. Emma stared at him. Did you see your daughter after she died? The question hit him in the chest. Yeah. Did you wish you hadn't? He thought about Lily in that hospital bed, machines breathing for her, tubes everywhere, brain dead but heart still beating. Thought about signing the papers to pull the plug, watching her die twice. Every day, he said. Emma nodded like that made sense. I don't want to remember them dead either. Then don't. Remember them alive. Remember your mom reading to you, your dad making you laugh. That's what they'd want. How do you know what they'd want? Because that's what every parent wants. For their kid to remember the good stuff. Fresh tears rolled down Emma's cheeks. There's not going to be any more good stuff, though. Is there? Sarah's arms tightened around her. Yes, there will, I promise. You can't promise that. I can, because you're stuck with me now, and I'm not going anywhere. You'll leave eventually. Everyone leaves. Not me. You left before you and Mommy stopped talking. Sarah flinched. That was different. That was, I made a terrible mistake. One I regret every single day. But I'm not making it again. You're my family, Emma. The only family I have left. And I'm going to take care of you. How you work all the time. I'll figure it out. You can't afford me. I heard Mommy and Daddy fighting about money. Kids are expensive. We'll manage. What if the bad men come back? The question hung in the air. Sarah's eyes cut to Jake. They won't, he said. You don't know that. Yeah, I do. How? Because Jake Morrison had spent 5 years with the Crimson Wolves, had learned how to track people, how to hurt them, how to make sure they never hurt anyone again, skills he'd tried to bury, skills that were crawling back up from the grave. Because I'm not going to let them. he said simply. Emma studied his face. You can't stop bad men. Nobody can. Some people can. Are you one of them? I used to be. Are you still? He met her eyes, saw the desperation there, the need to believe someone could keep her safe. If I have to be, Sarah stood up. Jake, can I talk to you outside? He followed her into the hallway. She rounded on him immediately. What are you doing? What do you mean? Don't make promises you can't keep. Don't tell her you'll protect her when you don't even know who you're protecting her from. I know exactly who I'm protecting her from. Who? Professionals. People who kill clean and bury bodies where they won't be found easily. People who run cars off roads and make it look like accidents. That doesn't tell me anything. It tells you everything. This wasn't random. Emma's dad got involved with something bad, made someone angry, got himself and his wife killed. And Emma, she's a loose end. They left her for dead. Now she's alive. That's a problem. Sarah's face went pale. You think they'll come for her? I think they already are. He pulled out his phone, showed her the texts. She read them, horror spreading across her face. We need to call the police and tell them what I got threatening texts from a blocked number they can't do anything. Then what do? You get custody, you take her home, and I make sure nobody follows. Jake, you can't, this isn't your fight. I'm making it my fight. Why? Because nobody else will. Sarah stared at him. You're insane. Probably. You're going to get yourself killed. Maybe. But Emma won't. And that's what matters. To who you barely know her. I know enough. That's not an answer. Jake's jaw tightened. You want an answer? Fine. 3 years ago, I was sitting in a coffee shop while my daughter died. I left her. For 5 minutes. That's all it took. 5 minutes and she was gone. His voice went rough. I'm not leaving this kid. Not for 5 minutes. Not for 5 seconds. Not until I know she's safe. That good enough for you? Sarah's anger deflated. You can't save her to make up for not saving your daughter. Watch me. That's not how it works. It's how it works for me. They stared at each other. Finally, Sarah sighed. I'm filing emergency custody papers this afternoon. Judge might expedite it given the circumstances. But I don't have room for her. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment, work 60-hour weeks. I don't know how to do this. You'll figure it out. That's easy for you to say. Nothing about this is easy. Sarah rubbed her face. I need coffee and about 12 hours of sleep and a rewind button to go back and not have that stupid fight with my sister 5 years ago. Can't help with the last one, but there's a coffee machine down the hall. She almost smiled. Almost. You're staying. Where else would I go down? Home. Don't have one. Job? Nope. Friends? Not really my thing. So you're just gonna camp out in this hospital indefinitely, until Emma doesn't need me to. Sarah shook her head. You're either the best person I've ever met or the worst. I haven't decided which yet. Let me know when you figure it out. She walked away toward the coffee machine. Jake went back into the room. Emma was awake, staring at the ceiling. Are you really gonna stay? She asked quietly. Yeah. Even though Aunt Sarah thinks you're crazy. She doesn't think I'm crazy. I heard her say it. Okay, she thinks I'm crazy, but I'm staying anyway. Emma was quiet for a moment. My daddy would have liked you. Yeah. He used to say the strongest people are the ones who protect the weak. That's what real men do. She looked at him. Are you a real man? I'm trying to be. My daddy tried too, but the bad men got him anyway. I'm harder to kill than your dad. How do you know? Because I've been trying to die for 3 years and I'm still here. Either I'm unlucky or I'm tough. Haven't figured out which yet. Emma almost smiled. Then her face crumpled again. I miss them so much already. I know. Does it get better? The missing? Jake thought about Lily. About 3 years of waking up and forgetting for 5 seconds that she was gone. About the gut punch every time he remembered. No, he said honestly. But you get stronger, strong enough to carry it. I don't want to be strong. I want my mommy. I know, baby, she cried quietly. Jake sat there and let her, didn't offer empty comfort, didn't tell her it would be okay, just stayed. That's what he was good at now, staying. Sarah came back with coffee and paperwork, sat down and started filling out forms. Emergency custody, guardian ad litem, medical decisions, a whole stack of bureaucracy to turn grief into legal responsibility. There's a hearing tomorrow, she said. Judge wants to make sure Emma has stable placement before releasing her from the hospital. And will you get custody? I don't know. I'm family, which helps. But I'm single, work crazy hours, live in a tiny apartment. She looked up. They might say I can't provide adequate care. Then what happens? Foster care, at least temporarily. Emma's eyes went wide. No, please no, I want to stay with you. I'm trying, baby. But the system, it's complicated. I'll be good, I promise. I won't be any trouble. Sweetheart, this isn't about you being good. It's about me proving I can take care of you. And right now, on paper, I'm not sure I can. Jake stood up. What if she wasn't on paper alone? Sarah looked at him. What if there were 2 of you, 2 adults, more stable? Jake, what are you? I'm saying I'll help, officially. You can't. You're not family. You're not. She stopped, understanding dawning on her face. No, absolutely not. Why not? Because it's insane. You keep saying that word. Because it keeps being true. She lowered her voice. You want to what? Move in playhouse, pretend we're a family. I'm not playing anything. I'm saying the judge wants stability. 2 adults looks more stable than 1. We barely know each other. So people get married who barely know each other all the time. We're not getting married. I didn't say married, I said help. He looked at Emma. I'm saying whatever it takes to keep her out of the system. Emma's eyes were huge. You'd do that for me? Yeah. But why? Because I promised I wouldn't leave, and I keep my promises. Sarah stood up. Jake, we need to talk about this. Privately. They went back into the hallway. Sarah paced. This is crazy. You know this is crazy, right? You've mentioned it. I'm serious. You can't just insert yourself into our lives because you feel guilty about your daughter. This isn't about guilt. Then what is it about? It's about a kid who needs help, and 2 adults who can give it to her. You don't even know us. I know enough. I know you work yourself to death trying to save people. I know you regret not talking to your sister. I know you're terrified you're going to screw this up, and I know you need help whether you want to admit it or not. Sarah stopped pacing. And what do you get out of this? What do you mean? Nobody does something like this for nothing. So what do you get? Jake was quiet for a long moment. A reason to get up in the morning. The honesty of it hit Sarah like a punch. She opened her mouth, closed it, finally said, "This is still insane." Probably. The judge will never go for it. Maybe not, but it's worth a shot. What if Emma doesn't want you there? Then I leave, no questions asked. Sarah rubbed her temples. I can't believe I'm even considering this. Is that a yes? It's a maybe, a very reluctant maybe. I'll take it. They went back inside. Emma looked at them expectantly. Well, Sarah sat down on the bed. And this is a big if Jake helps out, would you be okay with that? You mean like living together? Something like that. I don't know the details yet, but having him around, helping out, making sure you're safe. Emma looked at Jake. Would you teach me things? What kind of things? I don't know. Whatever you know. You were a soldier, right? Yeah. So you know how to fight and protect people. I do. Could you teach me so I can protect myself so nobody can hurt me again? Jake glanced at Sarah. She looked torn between horror and understanding. We'll see, he said carefully. That means no. It means we'll see. Emma's face fell. Nobody ever teaches kids the important stuff. They teach us math and reading, but not how to survive. Math and reading are important. Not if you're dead. The brutal logic of it silenced them both. Finally, Sarah said, "We'll figure something out, baby. I promise. But right now you need to focus on healing." "Okay." Emma nodded, unconvinced. A knock on the door interrupted them. Officer Chen walked in, another cop behind him. Chen's face was grim. "We need to talk, all of you." Sarah stood up. "What's wrong?" "Sophia and Miguel Rodriguez. We've been digging into their background. Turns out Miguel was more than just a warehouse manager." "What does that mean?" Chen pulled out a folder. 6 months ago, he started working for Castellanos Logistics. On paper, it's a shipping company. In reality, it's a front for the Sinaloa cartel. Miguel was helping them move product across the border. Jake's blood went cold. Sarah's face drained of color. "You're saying my sister's husband was working for a drug cartel?" "Not willingly. We think they pressured him, threatened his family. Common tactic. Get someone desperate, make them an offer they can't refuse." "What kind of offer?" "Money, protection, or just the promise they won't hurt his wife and kid if he cooperates." Chen flipped through the file. But something went wrong. Miguel tried to get out, contacted DEA, was going to testify. "And they killed him for it," Jake said. Chen looked at him. "You don't seem surprised." "I'm not." "Why's that?" "Because I know how cartels work. You cross them, you die. You try to leave, you die. You talk to cops, you definitely die." "You got experience with cartels, Mr. Morrison." "I got experience with organizations that don't like loose ends. Like the Crimson Wolves." The room went silent. Sarah's head snapped toward Jake. "What?" Chen smiled without humor. "Didn't tell her that you used to ride with one of the most violent motorcycle gangs in the Southwest, that you were suspected in 3 murders before you disappeared. Suspected isn't convicted. Only because witnesses disappeared. I had nothing to do with that." "Sure you didn't." Chen turned to Sarah. "You might want to reconsider letting this guy around your niece." Sarah was staring at Jake. "And is it true? Did you kill people?" Jake met her eyes. "Yes," Emma gasped. Sarah went white. "But not like you think," Jake continued. "I was in Afghanistan, Iraq. I followed orders, did my job, killed enemies of my country. That's what soldiers do. And after with the wolves, I defended myself against people who were trying to kill me. I didn't start fights, but I finished them." "That's not an answer." "It's the only one I can give." Chen crossed his arms. "The point is, Mr. Morrison has a history of violence. And now he's attached himself to a child whose parents were murdered by violent criminals. Seems like a conflict of interest." "Or," Jake said slowly, "it seems like exactly the kind of person Emma needs right now. Someone who knows how these people think, how they operate, how to stop them. You're not law enforcement." "No, I'm better." "That's not better. That's vigilantism. Call it whatever you want. But if the cartel comes for Emma, your badge won't stop them. I will." Chen stepped closer. "You threaten a Mexican cartel, you die. Simple as that. Then I die. But Emma lives. That's the deal." Sarah stood up. "Okay, stop. Everyone just stop." She looked at Chen. "What do we actually do, practically, to keep Emma safe?" "Protective custody, safe house, until we can roll up the people who ordered the hit." "How long will that take?" "Could be months, could be years." "Years?" Sarah's voice rose. "You want to put her in protective custody for years? It's the safest option. It's prison. You're talking about putting an 8-year-old in prison because her father made a mistake. I'm talking about keeping her alive." "No." Emma's voice was small but firm. "I'm not going." Everyone looked at her. "Emma, sweetheart." Sarah started. "No, I'm not leaving Aunt Sarah. I'm not going to some house with strangers. I'm not doing it." Chen softened his voice. "I know it's scary, but it's temporary, until it's safe." "It'll never be safe. That's what Daddy said. He said they'd find us anywhere. Tears welled in her eyes. And he was right. They found us, and now he's dead, and if I go to another safe house, they'll find me there too. Not if we do it right. You won't, though, because bad men always win. That's what I learned. Bad men always win. The defeat in her voice broke Jake's heart. Not always, he said. Chen turned on him. What are you planning, Morrison? Nothing. Don't lie to me. I'm not lying. I'm not planning anything. I'm just saying bad men don't always win. Stay away from this. You go after cartel members, you'll start a war. Maybe. There's no maybe. You will get people killed. People are already dead, Chen pointed at Emma. You'll get her killed. Not if I get them first. That's not how this works. Then how does it work? Jake's voice rose. You put her in protective custody. Hide her away. Hope the cartel forgets about her. That the plan... It's better than your plan, which seems to be getting yourself killed. At least my plan keeps her out of a cage. Your plan is suicide. Then I'll die, Jake shouted. I'll die and Emma lives, and that's fine by me, because I've been dead for 3 years anyway. At least this way it matters. Silence fell. Everyone stared at him. Emma was crying. Sarah looked horrified. The other cop had his hand on his weapon. Chen shook his head slowly. You're going to get people hurt, Morrison, and I can't let that happen. You can't stop it either. I can arrest you. For what? I haven't done anything. Conspiracy to commit murder. That threat you just made. What threat? I'm just a guy keeping his promise to a kid, that's all. Chen and Jake stared at each other. Finally, Chen said, We're watching you. One wrong move and you're done. He walked out. The other cop followed. Sarah rounded on Jake immediately. What the hell was that but the truth? You just threatened to go after cartel members. You realize how insane that is. You keep using that word. Because you keep being insane. She looked at Emma. Baby, can you give us a minute? No, Emma said. I want to hear this. Emma, I want to hear it. It's my life. Everyone keeps talking about me like I'm not here, but I am here and I want to know what's happening. Sarah sank into the chair, looked at Jake helplessly. Jake pulled up the other chair, sat facing Emma. Okay, truth time. You want it. She nodded. The people who killed your parents, they're bad, really bad. And they're going to keep being bad until someone stops them. Police can't because it takes too long. System's broken, so someone else has to. You, Emma said. Maybe. You'll die. Maybe. I don't want you to die. I don't want to either. But I don't want you looking over your shoulder for the rest of your life more. There has to be another way. If there is, I don't know it. Emma looked at Sarah. What do you think? Sarah closed her eyes. I think this whole thing is impossible. I think I don't know how to keep you safe. I think... Her voice broke. I think I'm terrified I'm going to lose you like I lost your mom. You won't lose me. How do you know? Because Jake won't let you. Emma looked at him. Right. Jake Morrison, ex-Marine, ex-gang member, ex-father, looked at this broken little girl and knew he was about to make another promise he might not be able to keep, but he made it anyway. Right, he said. I won't let anyone hurt you. Ever again. No matter what. Emma nodded, satisfied, like that was all the protection she needed. Sarah buried her face in her hands, and Jake wondered how long he had before the cartel came calling, and he had to prove he meant every word. 3 days, it turned out. That's how long it took for the wolves to find him. Jake was getting coffee when he saw them. 3 men in the hospital parking lot, leather vests, crimson wolves patches clear even from a distance. They weren't hiding. They wanted him to see them. His hand tightened on the coffee cup. He'd known this was coming. Had felt it in his bones ever since he texted back that threat. The wolves didn't forget. And they sure as hell didn't forgive. He walked back inside, took the stairs 2 at a time, found Sarah sitting with Emma reading her a book about dragons. We need to go, he said. Sarah looked up. What? Now. Pack Emma's things, we're leaving. Jake, what are you? They're here. Understanding flooded Sarah's face. She stood up. Emma, sweetheart, we need to get ready to go home. But the doctor said tomorrow. Change of plans. We're leaving now. Why? Jake knelt beside the bed. Remember what I said about keeping you safe? Emma nodded. Well, some people showed up who might make that harder, so we're leaving. The bad men. Different bad men. How many kinds of bad men are there? Too many, which is why we're going. Sarah was already gathering Emma's things. I'll get a wheelchair, sign the AMA paperwork. Make it fast. She left. Jake stood guard at the door, watching the hallway. A nurse walked by, an orderly, a family visiting someone. Normal hospital traffic. But his instincts were screaming. Emma's voice was small behind him. Are you scared? Yeah. You don't look scared. Scared people never do. Will they hurt you? They'll try. What if they win? Jake turned to face her. Then Sarah gets you somewhere safe and you forget about me. Okay. I don't want to forget about you. Emma, You're the only one who stopped, who helped, who stayed. Tears welled in her eyes. Everyone else just drives by. But you stopped. His throat closed. Kid, promise you'll be okay. Promise. There was that word again. Promise. The word that seemed to define his entire existence now. I can't promise that. Then promise you'll try. Please. He looked at this 8-year-old girl who'd lost everything and was now begging him not to die. Yeah, okay. I promise I'll try. Sarah came back with a wheelchair and discharge papers. Let's go. They got Emma into the chair. Jake pushed her toward the elevator. Sarah walked beside them, tension in every line of her body. Where are we going? She asked quietly. Your place first. Get what you need. Then we disappear. Disappear where? I know a place. Jake. Trust me. The elevator doors opened. They stepped inside. Jake hit the button for the ground floor. The doors started to close. A hand shot through, stopping them. They opened again. Viper Castellano stood there grinning. 6'4" of muscle and violence, gang tattoos covering his neck, eyes that had seen too much death to care about adding more. Reaper, he said. Been a while. Jake's jaw tightened. Viper. Heard you were playing hero. Thought I'd come see for myself. His eyes went to Sarah and Emma. These your new friends. Walk away. Can't do that, brother. You know the rules. You don't just leave the family. I left 3 years ago. Nah, you ran. There's a difference. Viper stepped into the elevator. 2 more wolves appeared behind him, blocking the hallway. We need to talk. Nothing to talk about. I disagree. See, word is you're making moves against the Sinaloa cartel. That true? No. Don't lie to me. I got sources. They say you're protecting a witness, little girl whose daddy tried to rat them out. Viper's eyes locked on Emma. That this girl... Sarah moved to stand in front of the wheelchair. Get away from her. Viper laughed. Feisty. I like it. You the aunt? I'm calling the police. Go ahead. We'll be gone before they get here, but so will Reaper. He looked at Jake. Come on, brother. Let's talk outside. Leave the ladies out of this. No, Emma said. Everyone looked at her. Jake stays with me. You can't have him. Viper's eyebrows rose. That right little girl giving orders now. He promised, and he keeps his promises. Promises don't mean anything, kid. Not in the real world. They do to him. Viper studied Jake. You really gonna die for a kid you don't even know? If I have to. That's stupid. Probably. Wolves need you, Reaper. Things have changed since you left. Territory disputes. Rivals moving in. We could use someone with your skills. Find someone else. There is no one else. You were the best. Still are, from what I hear. I'm retired. Nobody retires from this life. You know that. I did. Viper's expression hardened. One last chance, brother. Come back. Help us with the territorial issues. Or... He glanced at Emma and Sarah. We solve this problem our way. Jake's hands curled into fists. You threatening them. I'm stating facts. You got cartel heat on you. You got cops watching. You're a liability. Liabilities get eliminated. Try it. Don't make me Reaper. I liked you, still do, but business is business. The elevator started beeping, doors trying to close. One of the wolves held them open. Jake looked at Sarah. When I move, you run. Take Emma. Don't look back. Jake, no. Do it. He exploded forward, caught Viper in the chest with his shoulder, driving him backward into the hallway. The other two wolves moved in. Jake spun elbow, catching one in the jaw. The man dropped. The second wolf pulled a knife. Run! Jake shouted. Sarah grabbed the wheelchair, pushing Emma toward the stairs. The wolf with the knife lunged at Jake. He sidestepped, caught the man's wrist, twisted. The knife clattered to the floor. Jake drove his knee into the man's gut, then his face. The wolf went down hard. Viper was back up, grinning. There he is. There's the Reaper I remember. They circled each other. Hospital staff were screaming, running. Alarms going off. You lost a step, Viper said. Still got enough to take you. Prove it. Viper charged. Jake met him head on. They crashed into a wall, fists flying. Viper was bigger, stronger, but Jake was faster, meaner, desperate. He got Viper in a headlock, squeezed. Call them off, Jake growled, or I break your neck. Can't do that. Why not my call anymore? Jake's blood went cold. What? Cartel offered a deal. We give them the girl. They give us territory. You sold out to the cartel. Business? Brother. Told you. Jake squeezed harder. Where's Sarah? Probably dead already. Two more on the stairs. Rage flooded through him. Jake released Viper, but only to slam his head into the wall. Once. Twice. The big man crumpled. Jake ran for the stairs, burst through the door, heard screaming below. He took the stairs four at a time, rounded the corner. Two more wolves had Sarah and Emma cornered. One had a gun. Stop, Jake roared. They turned. The one with the gun swung it toward him. Jake didn't stop, didn't slow, charged straight at him. The gun went off. Pain exploded in Jake's shoulder. He didn't care, slammed into the shooter, driving him into the railing. It cracked, gave way. They both went over. Jake grabbed the rail with his good hand. The shooter wasn't so lucky. Fell 12 feet to the concrete below. Didn't get up. The second wolf looked at Jake hanging there, blood pouring from his shoulder, and ran. Jake pulled himself up. His shoulder was on fire. He could feel blood soaking through his shirt. Sarah and Emma were staring at him. You're shot, Sarah said. I'm fine. You're bleeding everywhere. I've had worse. He stumbled toward them. We need to go, now. Sarah abandoned the wheelchair, picked Emma up. They took the stairs as fast as they could. Jake trailed behind, one hand pressed to his shoulder, other hand on the rail. They hit the ground floor. The parking lot was chaos. Police sirens in the distance. Hospital security trying to contain the situation. Jake's bike was right where he'd left it. Get on. That's a motorcycle, Sarah said. Congratulations. You passed observation class. Get on. We can't. Emma's leg. We don't have a choice. He was swaying now, blood loss catching up. Get on, or I swear to God I will leave you here. Sarah looked at Emma, at Jake bleeding out, at the hospital behind them where more wolves might appear any second. She got on the bike, settled Emma in front of her. Jake climbed on in front, started the engine. His vision was blurring. Where are we going? Sarah shouted over the engine. Anywhere but here. He gunned it. The bike roared out of the parking lot just as police cars were pulling in. They shot through traffic. Jake's shoulder was screaming. The world kept tilting sideways. Jake, Sarah's voice in his ear. You need a hospital. Can't. You're going to pass out. Not yet. But he was. Black spots dancing in his vision. He gritted his teeth, kept the bike steady. Just a little further. Just a little. Everything went sideways. The bike wobbled. Sarah screamed. Jake fought for control. Got it back. Barely. Pull over. Can't stop. Jake. His vision tunneled. He could feel himself fading. Hear Sarah shouting, but the words weren't making sense anymore. see the road, but it was blurry and far away, and hands grabbed the handlebars. Sarah's hands reaching around him, taking control. He felt her shift, heard Emma crying, felt the bike slow. Then nothing. He woke up staring at a ceiling he didn't recognize. His shoulder was bandaged, an IV in his arm. For a horrible second, he thought he was back in the hospital. Then he heard Emma's voice. "He's awake." Sarah appeared above him. "You're an idiot." "Hey." "A complete idiot." "Yeah. You got shot. Noticed that. Could have died. Still might." She slapped his good shoulder. Not hard, but enough to sting. "Don't joke." "Who's joking?" Emma climbed onto the bed beside him, careful of his injuries. "You saved us. You shouldn't have had to be saved. I should have..." He tried to sit up. Pain shot through his shoulder. "Where are we to? Motel, 20 miles outside the city. I got the bullet out." "You what?" "I'm a nurse. Remember, I've done field trauma, though usually with proper equipment, and not on someone who's bleeding out in a parking lot." Her hands were shaking. "You could have died, Jake. You understand that? You could have died and left us." Her voice broke. "I'm sorry." "Don't be sorry. Be smarter. We need you. Emma needs you. You can't just throw yourself in front of bullets." "What was I supposed to do?" "I don't know. Not that." She was crying now. "God, I barely know you. Why do I care if you die?" "Because you're a good person. Good people don't patch up gang members in motel rooms." "Maybe not, but you did." She wiped her eyes. "We can't stay here. They'll find us." "I know. So what's the plan?" Jake tried to think through the pain and blood loss. "I have a place, old cabin, middle of nowhere. Nobody knows about it." "How far?" 2 hours. If I can ride." "You can't." "Have to." "Jake." "Sarah. Look at me." He waited until she did. "I can do this. I have to. Because if we stay here, they'll find us. And next time, there won't be a hospital to run from." She was quiet for a long moment. "Okay. But I'm driving." "You don't know how to ride." "I'll learn." "That's not how motorcycles work." "Then you'll teach me." Despite everything, Jake almost smiled. "You're stubborn." "I'm practical. You can barely sit up. You think you can control a bike." She had a point. Emma spoke up. "I can help." They both looked at her. "I can sit in front. Hold on. Make sure Jake doesn't fall off." "Baby, that's not..." Sarah started. "I want to help. Please. He saved us. Let me help him." Sarah looked at Jake. He nodded. "Okay," she said. "But we go slow, and if Jake passes out, we pull over immediately." "Deal." They got him upright. Took 10 minutes and a lot of cursing. Sarah helped him outside. The bike was there undamaged somehow. Emma climbed on first, then Jake moving like an old man. Sarah got on behind him, arms wrapped around his waist. "You remember the way?" she asked. "Yeah. Don't lie to me." "I remember." They pulled out. Jake gave directions through gritted teeth, left, right, straight on the highway. His shoulder throbbed with every bump. Sweat poured down his face. But he stayed conscious, stayed focused. Emma started singing. Quiet. Something her mom used to sing. The sound of it kept him anchored, kept him from drifting into the darkness that kept pulling at him. They rode for 2 hours, through empty highway, past nothing but desert and sky. Finally, Jake said, "There, that turn." They took a dirt road, bumpy, rough. Jake's vision blurred again. He felt Sarah's arms tighten around him. "Almost there," she said. "Stay with us. Not going anywhere. Promise." That word again. Promise. The cabin appeared. Small. Isolated. Jake's sanctuary for the past 3 years. Where he'd come after leaving the wolves. Where he'd learned to be alone with his grief. They stopped. Sarah helped him off the bike. He nearly fell. She caught him. "I got you," she said. "I'm heavy." "Shut up." Emma opened the cabin door. Inside was basic. One room, bed, table, wood stove, supplies stacked in the corner. Jake had always kept it stocked, just in case. Sarah lowered him onto the bed. Stay awake. Trying. Try harder. She was checking his bandages. Blood had soaked through. Damn it. You tore the stitches. Sorry. Stop apologizing and stay conscious. She looked at Emma. Maybe there should be a first aid kit under the sink. Can you get it? Emma nodded and ran. Jake caught Sarah's hand. Thank you. For what? Trusting me. Coming here. Not leaving when any sane person would have. I'm not sane. I'm terrified and furious. And I have no idea what I'm doing. She squeezed his hand. But you kept your promise, so I'm keeping mine. What promise? To take care of Emma. And apparently to take care of you too. Didn't ask you to. Too bad. You're stuck with me now. Emma came back with the kit. Sarah went to work. Cleaning, restitching, bandaging, professional, efficient. Emma sat beside Jake, holding his other hand. You're gonna be okay, Emma said. Yeah. Promise. He looked at her. This kid who'd lost everything, who'd watched him get shot protecting her, who was still brave enough to believe in promises. Yeah, kid, I promise. Sarah finished bandaging. You need to rest. Real rest. No moving, no heroics. Just sleep. Yes, ma'am. I'm serious, Jake. I know. She stood up, looked around the cabin. This is where you've been living. Yeah. It's depressing. It's quiet. Same thing. She sighed. Okay, Emma needs food. I need to figure out our next move. You need to not die. Think you can manage that? Do my best. That's all I ask. She took Emma outside to explore. Jake could hear them talking. Emma asking questions. Sarah trying to answer. Two people who barely knew each other tied together by tragedy, and a promise made by a man who'd forgotten how to keep them. Jake closed his eyes. Let exhaustion take him. But before he drifted off, he heard Emma's voice one more time. Aunt Sarah. Yeah, baby. Are we safe now? Pause. Then, I don't know. But we're together. That's something. Jake won't let the bad men get us. Right. Right. How do you know? Because he promised. And I'm starting to think he's the kind of man who'd die before breaking a promise. Is that good? I don't know yet. Ask me tomorrow. Jake smiled despite the pain, drifted off thinking that maybe, just maybe, he'd found something worth fighting for, worth living for, worth keeping promises for. He slept for 18 hours, woke to the smell of coffee and something cooking, sat up slowly. His shoulder protested but held. Sarah was at the stove making eggs. Emma was at the table drawing with pencils she must have found somewhere. You're awake, Sarah said. Apparently. How do you feel? Like I got shot. Good. Means your nerves are working. She brought him coffee. Eggs in 5 minutes. Think you can eat? Yeah. Emma ran over. Jake, you're not dead? Nope, still kicking. I was worried. I'm okay, kid. Promise. He was getting real tired of that word, but he said it anyway. Promise. She hugged him carefully, went back to her drawing. Sarah sat beside him. We can't stay here forever. I know. The wolves know you have a cabin. They'll find it eventually. Probably. And the cartel, they're not going to stop looking for Emma. No. So what do we do? Jake sipped his coffee. Thought about it. About Viper's words. About the wolves making deals with cartels. About Emma looking over her shoulder forever. About promises he'd made that were getting harder to keep. We end it, he said. End what? The threat, the fear, all of it. How? Jake met her eyes. I go back. Back where? To the wolves, to the cartel, to whoever I have to. And I make them understand that Emma's off limits. Permanently. That's suicide. Maybe. Jake, you got a better idea. Sarah opened her mouth, closed it. No. Then that's the plan. Soon as I can ride. You can barely stand. I'll manage. This is insane. There was that word again. Yeah, Jake said. But it's the only play we've got. Sarah looked at Emma, still drawing oblivious to the conversation. She can't lose anyone else. She won't. I'll come back. You can't promise that. I can try. Trying isn't enough. It's all I've got. They sat in silence, drinking coffee, watching Emma draw pictures of dragons and princesses and knights in armor, watching her be a kid for just a little longer before reality came crashing back. Finally, Sarah said, "When you go, I'm coming with you." No. Yes. Sarah, she's my niece, my responsibility. You don't get to play hero alone. This isn't playing. I know, but you're not doing it without me. We're in this together now, for better or worse. Jake wanted to argue, wanted to tell her to stay here where it was safe, but looking at her face, at the determination there, he knew it wouldn't matter. She'd made her choice, same as he had. Okay, he said, together. Together, she agreed. Emma looked up from her drawing. What are you talking about? Nothing, baby, Sarah said. Just grown-up stuff. Are the bad men coming back? Not if we can help it. Will Jake fight them again? Sarah looked at Jake. He looked back. Yeah, he said. But this time I'm going to make sure they stay down. Emma nodded, like that made perfect sense. Went back to drawing. And Jake Morrison, ex-Marine, ex-Wolf, ex-everything, began planning how to keep one more promise to a kid who deserved better than the world had given her. Even if it killed him. Especially if it killed him. 2 days later, Jake could stand without swaying. 3 days he could walk without Sarah catching him. 4 days he told her it was time. You're not ready, she said. I'm ready enough. Your shoulder will hold. They were outside the cabin. Emma was inside reading a book Sarah had brought from the motel. The sun was setting. Jake was checking his bike, making sure everything worked. Sarah crossed her arms. What's the actual plan? Walk into the Wolves clubhouse and ask them nicely to leave us alone. Something like that. That's not a plan. That's suicide. You keep saying that. Because it keeps being true. She moved closer. Jake, I know you think you have to do this alone. That it's your responsibility somehow. But it's not. We can go to the police. Witness protection. Something. Emma said it herself. Safe houses don't work. They'll find her eventually. So your solution is to die. My solution is to make them stop looking. How? Jake was quiet for a moment. Then, I'm going to offer them something better than a dead kid. What could possibly be better than that? Me. Understanding dawned on Sarah's face. No, absolutely not. It's the only way. You're going to offer yourself in exchange for Emma's safety. Yeah. And you think they'll just accept that, just let her go? The Wolves will. They don't care about Emma. They care about the cartel deal. I take that away, they've got no reason to hurt her. By taking it away, you mean, I'm going to tell the cartel their deal's dead, that any wolf who comes near Emma answers to me. And if they don't like it, they can kill me and deal with the consequences. What consequences? You'll be dead. I still got friends, people who owe me. I made a few calls while you were shopping yesterday. Let's just say if something happens to me, the Wolves lose everything. Sarah stared at him. You set up a dead man's switch. Yeah. What kind of switch? The kind where, if I don't check in every week, certain information gets sent to certain people. DEA, FBI, state police. Everything I know about the Wolves' operations. Names, dates, places. Enough to put them all away for life. You'd rat out your own brothers. They stopped being my brothers when they made a deal with the people who killed Emma's parents. Family doesn't do that. Sarah was quiet. Then, that's actually smart. Don't sound so surprised. I figured you'd go in guns blazing, not think it through. I'm not completely stupid. Just mostly stupid. Despite everything, he smiled. Yeah, mostly. Emma appeared in the doorway. Are you leaving? Jake looked at Sarah. She nodded. Yeah, kid. For a little while. To fight the bad men. To talk to them. Talking doesn't work with bad men. Sometimes it does, if you say the right things. Emma walked over, looked up at him with those eyes that had seen too much. What if they hurt you again? They won't. You don't know that. You're right, but I'm going to try really hard to make sure they don't. That's not good enough. It's all I got, kid. Emma's lip trembled. I don't want you to go. Jake knelt down, ignoring the pain in his shoulder. I know, but I have to. Because right now they're looking for you. And as long as they're looking, you're not safe. So I'm going to make them stop looking. By giving yourself to them. Who told you that? I heard you talking. I'm not deaf. He glanced at Sarah, who shrugged. Okay, yeah, that's the plan. That's a stupid plan. You sound like your aunt. Because we're both smart and you're being dumb. Jake couldn't help it. He laughed. Fair enough. Emma threw her arms around his neck. Please don't go. Please. His chest tightened. I have to. No, you don't. We can run. Hide somewhere else. Somewhere they'll never find us. They'll always find us, Emma. That's what bad men do. They find people. But if I do this, if I make this deal, they'll stop looking. And you can have a normal life. Go to school. Make friends. Be a kid. I don't want a normal life without you. The words hit him like a punch. He pulled back, looked at her face. Emma, you're the only one who stayed. The only one who didn't leave. And now you're leaving too. I'm not leaving. I'm coming back. You can't promise that. I can try. Trying's not good enough. She was crying now. Everyone tries. Everyone says they'll come back, and then they don't. Sarah moved closer, put a hand on Emma's shoulder. Baby. No, I'm tired of everyone leaving. I'm tired of being scared. I'm tired of... She couldn't finish, just sobbed. Jake pulled her close again, let her cry into his good shoulder. Over her head, he met Sarah's eyes. She was crying too. I'm sorry, he whispered. I'm so sorry. Don't be sorry, Emma said, voice muffled. Just come back. I will. Promise. There it was, that word, the one that kept defining everything. Yeah, kid, I promise. She pulled back, wiped her eyes. Okay, but if you break your promise, I'm going to be really mad. Noted. Like really, really mad. I get it. Good. She hugged him one more time, then let go and walked back inside without looking back. Sarah stepped closer. She's tougher than she looks. She's had to be. So have you. Jake stood up. I should go, while I still can. Jake, Sarah caught his arm. Thank you, for everything, for stopping, for staying, for... Her voice cracked. For caring about her when you didn't have to. I did have to. Why? Because nobody else did. Sarah pulled him into a hug, careful of his shoulder. Come back, please. She needs you. We both... She stopped. Just come back. I will. Promise. Everyone wants promises today. Because you're the only one who keeps them. He pulled back, looked at her face, saw something there he didn't expect. Something that looked like, no. He was imagining it. Had to be. I'll be back by morning, he said. And if you're not, then take Emma and run. Don't look back. Where one, Canada, Mexico, doesn't matter. Just run. Jake, promise me. She stared at him, then nodded. I promise. Good. He climbed on the bike, started it. The rumble was familiar, comforting. He'd spent 3 years running on this bike. Now he was riding towards something instead of away. Funny how life worked. He pulled out. Didn't look back. Couldn't. If he did, he might not leave. The ride to the Wolves clubhouse took an hour. Jake used the time to go over his plan. Get in. Make the offer. Get out. Simple. Clean. No heroics. Except it wouldn't be simple. Wouldn't be clean. Viper was smart. Ruthless. He'd see through Jake's bluff unless Jake sold it hard, which meant Jake had to believe it himself. Had to be ready to die if that's what it took. He was. The clubhouse appeared. Bigger than he remembered. More bikes out front. The Wolves had grown in 3 years. Jake parked, walked to the door. 2 prospects guarding it. Young. Stupid. Probably never even heard of the Reaper. "I'm here to see Viper," Jake said. "Who are you?" "Tell him Reaper's back." The prospects looked at each other. One went inside. Came back 30 seconds later, face pale. "He says come in." Jake walked through. The clubhouse was packed. 30, maybe 40 wolves, all staring at him. Some with recognition, some with anger, some with fear. Viper sat in the back president's chair, 2 girls on either side. He smiled when he saw Jake. "Reaper, heard you weren't dead. Takes more than a bullet. Should have used 2. Viper gestured. "Come, sit. Let's talk." Jake walked through the crowd, felt eyes on him, heard whispers. The Reaper, back from the dead, here to reclaim his spot. Except he wasn't. He stopped in front of Viper. "I need to talk. Alone. Anything you say to me, you can say to my brothers." "Fine. Your deal with the cartel, it's done." Murmurs around the room. Viper's smile didn't waver. "That right? Yeah. What makes you think you can end my deal?" "Because I'm the one they want. The witness, the girl, me, I'm the problem. So here's the offer. You call off the hunt, tell the cartel the girl's dead. In exchange, I give you something better." "What could you possibly give me that's better than cartel territory? Protection from what's coming." Viper's smile faded. "What's coming?" "I made some calls, set some things in motion. If anything happens to that girl, anything at all, information gets released. Federal information. About the Wolves. About you. About every illegal thing this club's done for the past 10 years. The room exploded. Wolves shouting, cursing, moving forward. Viper held up a hand. Silence fell. "You're bluffing," he said. "Try me. You'd rat out your own brothers. You stopped being my brothers when you sold out to murderers. Real brothers protect each other. They don't trade little girls for territory. That girl's father was a snitch. That girl's father was trying to protect his family, same as any of you would do. So you're protecting her instead. Playing hero. I'm keeping a promise." Viper laughed. "A promise. To a kid you don't even know. You really have lost your mind." Maybe. But here's the reality. You kill her, you lose everything. I've made sure of that. But if you let her go, if you call the cartel and tell them she's dead, the witness is gone. Move on, then the information stays buried. And you keep your territory, your club, your freedom. And you, I stay away, leave town, disappear. You'll never see me again." Viper studied him. "That's it. That's your offer. That's it. What makes you think the cartel will believe us? Because you'll make it convincing. Burn a body. Same age, same size. Make it look good. They'll believe it because they want to believe it. Because it means one less problem. And the girl, she just disappears. She gets adopted by her aunt. New name. New city. Clean break. Nobody comes looking." Viper was quiet for a long moment. Then he stood, walked over to Jake, got right in his face. "You know what you're asking?" "Yeah." "You're asking me to lie to the cartel, to risk my deal, my reputation. For what? A promise you made to a kid?" "Yeah. That's insane." "So I've been told." Viper stared at him, then surprisingly smiled. "You always were crazy, Reaper. That's why I liked you." He stepped back. "Okay. Deal." Jake's heart skipped. "What?" "I said deal." We'll tell the cartel the girl's dead. Set it up nice and clean. But, his smile turned hard. You owe us. Understand, this doesn't make us even. You took out 3 of my guys at the hospital, embarrassed me in front of my club. So here's the real deal. Girl goes free. But you work for us. One job. Clean something up that needs cleaning. Then you disappear. Deal. Jake's jaw tightened. What kind of job? The kind you used to do. The kind only you can do. I'm not killing anyone. Not asking you to. Just asking you to scare someone. Make them understand they crossed the wrong people. Who? Does it matter? Yeah. Viper sighed. Small-time dealer. Thinks he can move product in our territory without paying tax. Needs to be reminded how things work. You want me to beat up a dealer. I want you to make an example. Show him what happens when you disrespect the wolves. Jake thought about Emma, about Sarah, about the promise he'd made. One job, then I'm gone, and the girl stays safe. Forever. Forever. And the cartel buys the story. They'll buy it, I'll make sure. Jake held out his hand. Deal. Viper shook it. Welcome back, Reaper, even if it's just for one night. The wolves erupted in cheers. Someone handed Jake a beer. Someone else slapped his back. They were celebrating, like he'd never left. Like the past 3 years hadn't happened. But they had happened, and Jake wasn't the same person who'd worn that patch. Viper pulled him aside. The dealer works out of a warehouse on 5th. Tonight. You go in, rough him up, make the point. Then you're free. That's it. That's it. Simple. Nothing was ever simple. But Jake nodded. Tonight. Tonight. He left the clubhouse, climbed on his bike. His shoulder was throbbing. His head was spinning. He'd just agreed to violence, to going back to being the person he'd tried to leave behind. But it was for Emma, for Sarah, for the promise. He could do this one thing, one last thing. Then he was done. He rode back to the cabin. Sarah was waiting on the porch. Well, she asked. It's done. They're calling off the hunt. Emma's safe. Relief flooded her face. Really? Really? They'll stage the death. Make it convincing. Cartel will move on. What did you have to give them? Jake hesitated. Nothing important. Don't lie to me. He met her eyes. One job, tonight. Then I'm free. What kind of job? The kind I used to do. Understanding and horror crossed her face. Jake, no. It's done, Sarah. The deal's made. What do they want you to do? Scare someone. That's all. That's not all. That's never all. It is this time. You're lying. I'm protecting Emma. By becoming a monster again. The word hit him hard. Maybe I never stopped being one. Don't say that. Why not? It's true. You said it yourself. I've got violence in me. This is just using it for something good. Violence is never good. Sometimes it's necessary. They stared at each other. Emma appeared in the doorway. What's going on? Sarah wiped her eyes. Nothing, baby. You're crying. I'm just happy. Jake made a deal. You're safe now. Emma looked at Jake. Is that true? Yeah. Promise. Promise. She smiled. Actually, smiled. First real smile he'd seen on her face. Thank you. His chest tightened. You're welcome. What happens now? Now you and Sarah go live your lives. Get that custody finalized. Find a new place. Start over. What about you? I've got something to take care of. Then I'll... He stopped. Realized what he was about to say. Then I'll come back. But could he? Should he? These people needed to start fresh. Clean break from everything bad. And he was bad. Had always been bad. Then you'll what? Emma pressed. Jake looked at Sarah. She was watching him with an expression he couldn't read. Then I'll figure out what's next, he said. Emma's face fell. You're not coming back. Emma, you're leaving, just like everyone else. It's not like that. Yes, it is. I can tell. You're saying goodbye. Sarah stepped forward. Baby, maybe we should... No, I want to hear it from him. Emma walked up to Jake, looked up with tears in her eyes. Tell me the truth. Are you coming back? Jake wanted to lie, wanted to promise, wanted to give this kid one more thing to hold on to. But he'd made a deal with devils, and devils always collected. I don't know, he said honestly. Emma's face crumpled. She turned and ran inside. Sarah started to follow, stopped, looked back at Jake. When do you have to do this job? Tonight. And after I'm free. That's the deal. Free to what? Disappear, run. Pretend we never happened. Free to not put you in danger anymore. We're already in danger, Jake. We have been since you stopped on that highway. The question is whether you're going to stay and help us through it, or run like you've been running for 3 years. I stopped running. Did you? Because it looks to me like you're about to start again. Jake had no answer for that. Sarah shook her head. Do what you have to do, but know this. That little girl in there, she's already lost everyone who mattered. Her parents, her home, her whole life. And now she's losing you too. So whatever happens tonight, whatever deal you made, you better think long and hard about whether it's worth breaking one more promise to a kid who's had too many broken already. She walked inside, closed the door. Jake stood there, alone. The sun was setting. He had 3 hours until he had to be at that warehouse. 3 hours to decide who he was, who he wanted to be. The Reaper. The man who did what needed doing. Who used violence to solve problems. Who kept people safe through fear. Or Jake Morrison. The father who failed. The man trying to be better. The one who made promises he wasn't sure he could keep. He walked to his bike, sat on it, stared at the cabin, at the light in the window where Emma and Sarah were probably talking, probably crying. He could leave right now, do the job, disappear. They'd be safe, they'd move on. Forget about him eventually. Or he could go inside, tell them the truth, that he was scared, that he didn't know how to be what they needed, but that he wanted to try. His phone buzzed. Text from Viper. Warehouse. Midnight. Don't be late. Jake stared at the message, then at the cabin, then back at the message. He thought about Lily, about the 5 minutes that cost him everything, about 3 years of running from ghosts. He thought about Emma crying inside, about Sarah trying to hold everything together, about promises made and broken. He thought about the man he used to be, and the man he wanted to become. Then he made his choice. He got off the bike, walked to the cabin door, opened it. Emma and Sarah looked up, both red-eyed. I need to tell you something, Jake said. They waited. I made a deal tonight. 1 job for the wolves. In exchange, they call off the hunt. Emma stays safe. We know, Sarah said quietly. What you don't know is what happens after. You disappear, Emma said bitterly. That was the plan. Jake walked over, knelt in front of Emma. I've spent 3 years running from everything, from my past, my mistakes, my pain. I thought if I kept moving I could outrun it, but I was wrong. You can't outrun yourself. You can only decide who you want to be and start being that person. What does that mean? It means I'm done running. It means after tonight I'm coming back, if you'll have me. Emma's eyes went wide. Really? Really? Promise. Jake smiled. Yeah, kid. I promise. No more running. No more disappearing. I'm here. For as long as you need me. Emma threw her arms around him. I need you forever. His throat closed. That's a long time. I don't care. He held her tight. Over her head he met Sarah's eyes. She was crying again, but smiling too. Thank you, she mouthed. He nodded. They stayed like that for a long moment. Then Jake pulled back. I have to go do this thing, but I'll be back by morning. And then we figure out the rest together. Okay. Okay, Emma said. Both of you stay here. Lock the doors. Don't open them for anyone but me. Jake, Sarah said. Be careful. Always. Don't do anything stupid. Define stupid. You know what I mean. He stood up. looked at them both. His family. Not by blood, not by law, but by choice, by promise, by something deeper than either. "I'll be back," he said. "I promise." Then he left, got on his bike, rode into the night, toward the warehouse, toward the last piece of his old life he had to close. The warehouse was empty when he arrived, dark, silent. He parked, walked in. The dealer was there, young, scared, sitting in a chair with two wolves guarding him. "Reaper," one of them said, "thought you weren't coming." "I'm here." "Viper says make it memorable." Jake looked at the kid, at his terrified face, saw himself at that age, stupid, making bad choices, one wrong move from disaster. "Leave us," Jake said. "What?" "I said leave. I'll handle this." The wolves looked at each other, shrugged, left. Jake walked over to the kid. "What's your name?" "Tony." "How old are you, Tony?" 22. "You got family?" "Yeah." "They know what you're doing." The kid shook his head. Jake pulled up a chair, sat across from him. "I'm supposed to hurt you, make you an example, make you scared enough to never cross the wolves again. You understand that?" Tony nodded, terrified. "But I'm not going to do that." "What?" "I'm giving you a choice. You stop dealing. Tonight. Walk away. Find a real job. Live a real life. Or you keep doing this and eventually someone worse than me shows up. Someone who won't give you a choice. I can't just stop. They'll kill me. Who will? The people I work for. Then you run. You disappear. You do whatever it takes to stay alive and stay clean. Because I'm telling you right now, this life, it ends one of two ways. Prison or dead. That's it. No third option. How do you know? Because I lived it, and I got out. Barely. With more scars than I can count, and more regrets than I can carry. So take it from someone who knows. Get out while you still can. Tony stared at him. "Why are you telling me this?" "Because someone should have told me. Maybe I would have listened, maybe not. But at least I would have had the chance." Jake stood up. "I'm walking out of here. In 5 minutes those guys are coming back. When they do, you're going to be gone. You understand? They'll know I ran. Let me worry about that." "Why are you helping me?" Jake thought about Emma, about promises, about second chances. "Because I'm trying to be someone who helps people instead of hurting them. Still figuring out how. But I'm trying." He walked out. The wolves were waiting. "Done already?" one asked. "He won't be a problem anymore." "How do you know?" "Because I know. Trust me." They went back inside, found the chair empty, cursed, looked at Jake. "He ran," Jake said. "Scared him enough he bolted. Message sent. Viper's not gonna like this." "Viper wanted him handled. He's handled. Kid won't be selling in our territory anymore. That's what matters." The wolves looked skeptical but nodded. Jake left before they could ask more questions. He rode back to the cabin as the sun was rising, exhausted, shoulder throbbing, but alive and clean. He hadn't hurt anyone, hadn't become the monster again. He'd chosen differently. The cabin came into view. Sarah and Emma were on the porch waiting. When they saw him, Emma ran. "You came back." He caught her with his good arm, held her tight. "Told you I would. I was so scared." "I know, but I'm here, and I'm not leaving again." Sarah walked over. "It's done. It's done. And you're okay." "I'm better than okay." She studied his face, saw the truth there, smiled. "Good. Now get inside. You look terrible." "Thanks. I'm a nurse. It's my job to tell you when you look terrible." They went inside. Emma climbed onto the couch, exhausted but happy. Sarah made coffee. Jake sat at the table watching them move around his space, making it theirs, making it home. "What happens now?" Sarah asked. "Now we figure out custody, get you legal guardianship, find a place to live, enroll Emma in school. And you? I help however I can." "What about the wolves?" "They got what they wanted. I'm out. For good this time. They'll let you go just like that." "They don't have a choice. The deal's done. Emma's safe. I kept my word. That's enough. Sarah poured coffee, handed him a cup, sat down across from him. You know this is crazy, right? So I've heard. We barely know each other. We know enough. Emma's gonna need therapy, probably for years. We'll get her therapy. I work crazy hours. I don't work any hours. I can be here when you can't. You have no job, no income, no plan. I'll figure it out. That's not a plan. It's the beginning of one. Sarah shook her head. This is the most insane thing I've ever done. Is that a yes? That's a very reluctant, probably going to regret this, but yes. Jake smiled. Actually smiled. First real smile in 3 years. Good. Emma called from the couch. Are you guys talking about being a family? They looked at each other. Maybe, Sarah said. Would that be okay with you? Yeah, that'd be really okay. Even though we're not related. Not really. Emma sat up. Families aren't about blood. They're about who stays, who shows up, who keeps promises. She looked at Jake. Right. He thought about Lily, about the family he'd lost, about the one he'd found in the most unlikely way. Yeah, kid. That's exactly right. So, can we be a family? Sarah reached across the table, took Jake's hand. He looked at her, saw the same fear and hope he felt mirrored in her eyes. Yeah, he said. We can be a family. Emma cheered, ran over, hugged them both. Best family ever. We'll see about that, Sarah said. We haven't even gotten to the hard parts yet. What hard parts? Living together, sharing space, dealing with each other's annoying habits. Jake's not annoying. Give it time. Jake laughed, pulled them both close. 3 people who'd been broken in different ways, held together by trauma and choice and promises kept. It wasn't perfect, wasn't traditional, wasn't what any of them had planned, but it was theirs. 6 months later, Jake stood in a courtroom holding Emma's hand while a judge finalized Sarah's custody and his legal guardianship. Emma wore a yellow dress. Sarah wore a nervous smile. Jake wore the only suit he owned. The judge looked at them over her glasses. This is unusual. Aunt and legal guardian who isn't related. You understand this is permanent. Yes, Your Honor, Sarah said. And you, Mr. Morrison. You understand you're taking on legal responsibility for this child. Financial, emotional, everything. Yes, ma'am. Can you support her? I got a job, construction. It's honest work, pays enough. And you've completed the required parenting classes. All of them. Background check came back clean, no recent arrests. Letters of recommendation from employers. Therapist reports show Emma is adjusting well. The judge looked at Emma. And you, young lady, how do you feel about this? Emma squeezed Jake's hand. I feel happy. You want both Sarah and Jake to be your guardians. Yeah, they're my family. Family means different things to different people. What does it mean to you? Emma thought for a moment. It means people who don't leave, who keep their promises, who love you even when you're scared or sad or angry. That's what family is. The judge's expression softened. That's a very good answer. She signed the papers. Guardianship is granted. Congratulations. You're officially a family. Emma hugged Jake, then Sarah, then both of them together. They walked out of the courthouse into sunshine. Can we get ice cream? Emma asked. It's 10 in the morning, Sarah said. So we're eating breakfast first, like a responsible family. But no buts, pancakes first, then ice cream. Emma looked at Jake. She's being mean. She's being practical. There's a difference. You're supposed to be on my side. I'm on the side of not having a sugar crash before noon. You guys are no fun. But she was smiling. They all were. They went to a diner, ordered too much food, talked about everything and nothing, made plans for Emma's room in the new apartment, discussed school starting in 2 weeks, argued about whether they needed a dog. Normal family things. Things Jake never thought he'd have again. Later, after Emma was asleep, Jake and Sarah sat on the porch. The apartment complex wasn't much. But it was theirs. 3 bedrooms. Close to Emma's school. Close to Sarah's hospital. Close to Jake's construction site. "You okay?" Sarah asked. "Yeah." "You're quiet." "Just thinking. About how 3 years ago I wanted to die. Couldn't find a reason to wake up. And now," he gestured at the apartment, "now I got 2 people depending on me. It's terrifying. But good terrifying." "Yeah, good terrifying." Sarah leaned against him. "Thank you." "For what?" "For stopping. For staying. For keeping your promises. Thank you for trusting me. For giving me a chance when you had every reason not to. We're even then. We're family. That's better than even." They sat in comfortable silence, watched stars appear, listened to the city around them. Finally, Sarah said, "Do you still think about her, your daughter, every day? Does it still hurt?" "Always will. But it's different now. Less like drowning, more like carrying something heavy, but manageable. Because of Emma. Because of both of you. Because I got a reason to carry it now." Sarah took his hand. "I'm glad you stopped that day. On the highway." "Me too. Even though it got you shot. Even though it almost killed Sarah. And involved with a crazy nurse and traumatized kid. Especially because of that." She smiled, kissed his cheek. "You're a good man, Jake Morrison." "I'm trying to be. That's all any of us can do." Inside, Emma called out in her sleep. They both stood, went to check on her. She was dreaming, not nightmares anymore, just regular kid dreams. Sarah adjusted her blanket. Jake stood in the doorway watching. This kid who'd cried, "Please don't hurt me," was now sleeping peacefully, safe, loved, protected. They'd done that, together. 3 broken people building something whole. Jake Morrison had stopped believing in second chances, had stopped believing in anything except the road stretching out ahead of him and the ghosts riding behind. But sometimes second chances looked like a child crying in the desert. Sometimes they looked like a nurse who saw past the scars. Sometimes they looked like choosing to stay when every instinct said run. Sometimes second chances looked like family. Not the family you were born into, but the family you chose. The family you fought for. The family you kept promises for. Emma stirred, opened her eyes. "Jake, yeah, kid. You're really staying right forever." He walked to her bedside, brushed hair from her forehead. "Yeah, forever. Promise." He smiled. That word. The word that had defined everything. The word that had saved him. "Promise," he said. Emma smiled, closed her eyes, went back to sleep. Sarah took his hand as they left the room. "Think we can do this?" "Do what?" "Be a family. A real one. With all the hard parts and messy parts and complicated parts." Jake thought about Lily. About the wolves. About highways and promises and choices that changed everything. "Yeah," he said. "I think we can." And he meant it. Every word. Every promise. Every choice that brought him here. Because Jake Morrison had spent 3 years running from himself, only to discover that the road back home started with 4 words whispered in the darkness. "Please don't hurt me." He'd heard those words. He'd stopped. He'd stayed. And in staying, he'd found what he'd been looking for all along. A reason to keep going, a purpose beyond pain, and a family built not on blood, but on promises kept. Families aren't born, they're chosen. And every single day, Jake Morrison chose this one.